So qualifying was today. I was a bit let down to see how we started off the line. Please explain what happened.
So we got up to the line, went to take off, gunned it. It just didn't take off. Didn't spin the tires, did nothing. It was like the motor was stuck in like last gear. Kind of doing everything in the car, looking over to make sure that I didn't make a mistake of anything, letting off the gas, gassing it. I mean, making sure I'm in gear. I didn't have any switches off. I mean, nothing. And as soon as I went over the first jump, I was going like 30 miles an hour. As soon as my tires came off the jump, all of a sudden the car come to life. It took off. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay, we're back on. So we took off and get into the corner, dive into the corner, let off for a second, gas it again to pull out of the corner. Nothing. The car wouldn't boost up. It wouldn't pull. It wouldn't go over 30 miles an hour. It was just going ball. We get just a little ways, maybe 50 yards, and I dropped into a hole. And when I dropped, my tires came off the ground. And as soon as they came off the ground, it like started revving up and going faster again. So I was back in it. And at that time, I'd already, that got in my head that there's something seriously wrong with the car. It wasn't wrong right before we were pre-running. Anyway, got up to speed, got up to 68 miles an hour. That's what our GPS watch said on that straightaway there. And come into that corner at the bottom of the mountain and turn right to go up the first hill. And that just kills all your momentum. You're tilted to the left, you're turning to the right, and you're turning up to go up a hill. So I did that, cut through there, and as soon as I cut through, the car bogged right down to almost nothing RPM, and when it did that, I pulled it back to low. We were still moving at like 5 miles an hour, and it went just perfectly in, and the moment it went in, it spooled up, and I never let off from the bottom. And normally I would have let off, but I was too scared to let off that if I would have, it would have quit again. But I rocketed up that hill extremely fast. Mine even got off the ground at the top of it. It really let off through the top of the mountain, then started coming down, hit it in the high, kept it going all the way down, and right at the bottom when you run into all that silt and those big holes, I run into that and I had it gunned, and it killed all the power, momentum, and it couldn't pull out of it again. And that's where I want to say almost 200 yards that I went like 15 to 20 miles an hour with the car just wide open, and it wouldn't do anything. It was just ball. And, I mean, now we know what it was. The secondary had broke on the start line, and it was literally stuck in high gear. But so from that point, I got up to the rock wall. I put it in low range like I planned to do. I actually made the shift fairly good. The car came to life for a slight second, and then just fell on its face. It started crawling, and it was like the clutch was engaging and disengaging. And it crawled halfway up the hill, and then it must have spun the belt in the secondary. I seen it on TV, so I know that it blew a bunch of smoke out. I thought I lost the belt. I thought it blew up. It didn't. I let off, and I thought I'd just try to make sure that the belt was blowing, and I let off and gassed. I let off the brake and gassed it, and the car started pulling forward. So I tried again, and it slowly crawled up the hill, got up to the top, and then after that, I did kind of drive. I drove pretty well. I drove it like a rock bouncer down the hill, and just tried to get through the finish line. But it being stuck like that kind of throws everything off. The turbo's completely unable to spool because it can't. It's overworking itself the whole time. And the car was in a really high gear, so you just had no power and torque. And I just pushed all the way through, all the way to the finish line. But every split second, you give it gas, just by turning your wheel, it would bog down the motor. Just didn't have anything. All the rollers let go, they all broke in it. So,
well, considering all that we know now, the fact that you're able to finish the race in the time you did with no properly working clutch, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
So we qualified, we're ready to race. Let's go get pre-running, let's fix this clutch, and we'll get back out there.